we'll be ready game 4.
Chris Paul owning his performance last night. But, Nick, I want to talk some Paul George. Did he and the Clippers convince you that they can still win this series?
Well, listen, I've never said they can't win the series. So, yeah, I guess I'm still convinced they can. I do not believe they will. And despite the win last night, I feel very similarly to how I felt on this show yesterday, which is that the Clippers are running on empty, even though I said yesterday I thought they could win Game 3. Like, typically, if you're going to lose a series, say in 5, it's because the one game you win is the home game in Game 3 when you're desperate and the other team is maybe slightly a little relaxed having the 2-0 lead. Now, I don't think anyone should be relaxed against these Clippers with a 2-0 lead because we saw the Dallas series, we saw the Utah series, and credit to the Clippers who have now essentially played 5 elimination games in these playoffs, and they're 5-0. They've 3 times faced a potential 3-0 deficit. They've answered the bell in all 3, including in the very first one when they hadn't yet won a playoff game this year, and they were down 30-11 to Dallas and came storming back. When they blew out the Mavs, and then last night when they were in control from start to finish. But Brandon, Paul George played well last night, but when you look at him for this series, he's yet to have a good shooting game. And I'm not saying I'm not killing him at all. But he's shooting 38% for the series. Right, from 3, 3 for 11 from 3, like a bunch of 9 for 26, 10 for 27. He knows he has to be high volume, but I just think the minutes, the playing every other day for a month is catching up with them. They got the Suns when CP3 was rusty and Devin Booker had an off night. I don't think they are going to be able to do to the Suns what they did to Dallas and what they did to Utah, despite the fact that they've proven quite a bit this postseason, Brandon.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Look, I'm happy for Paul George. I'm happy that he's not only playing well throughout the playoffs. Now, obviously, there's ups and downs in games and quarters, but for the most part, he got that playoff P off his back. And then to bounce back from missing 2 free throws in a critical moment, in a huge moment, and probably in one of the biggest moments in his career, and then come back and get this game and do what he did says a lot. But at the end of the day, I just think the best of the Clippers, whatever is left of the Clippers without Kawhi coming back and being half of Kawhi, not expecting that, and then the best of the Suns, the Suns win. Like, that's just what it comes down to. I don't think, Wilds, that you got Booker and CP3 going 1 for 1,000 again. I just don't see that happening. So, the Clippers, great game, a bounce-back game. Obviously, still have some left in the tank. I don't know how much. But at the end of the day, no Kawhi Leonard at 100%. The Suns are too much.
So here's the thing about Kawhi not playing the game, watching from the suite. I think in a way that unlocks Paul George a little bit, Nick. I think Paul George has had some bad shooting nights. It wasn't great last night, but he can't go anywhere else. There's no one else to really defer to. Reggie Jackson's a nice player, but Paul George is not going to just keep feeding Reggie Jackson. He has to put up a lot of shots, and even if he's missing them, Paul George is still playing with a confidence that I think puts way off P in the rear window. You see, like when he hit the half-court shot and he's like kissing to the crowd, he's like a gladiator champion. Right. I just loved it. I thought he was playing so confident. And after the game, and again, there is a cottage industry of like Paul George body language expert that I guess I'm a part of now. But the guy looks confident. He doesn't look like a guy who is going to be like, I need to shoot better. It's on me. Yeah, I know you got the win, but either way, the guy's missing a lot of shots, but I still think you see that confidence in him. And with Ty Lue's adjustments, and we know that they lost game 2 by 0.8 seconds, I would be very, very fearful of this Clippers team if I was the Suns.
So So I knew you were going to be, you've been consistent in these playoffs that guys don't overreact to home teams winning games and call series over, and you've been correct in large part. And all that's happened in this series so far is the home team has won games. And your point on Ty Lue, I of course agree with, and you see it again. Zubats had been a non-factor, basically a net negative for most of this playoff run, and now he is getting major minutes, and he is having a major impact in trying to mitigate some of what Ayton does. So I appreciate and I respect all of that. But Brandon, it is just incredibly difficult for me to see, watch a game where Kawhi Leonard is in the suite with his adorable children and feel like the Clippers are going to win a series against a championship caliber team. Like, the Suns were going to lose eventually. The Suns had won 9 straight playoff games. The list of teams to win in modern NBA history, or the last decade or so, to win 10 straight playoff games, it's just the Steph KD Warriors and LeBron's Cavs. I think they each did it once or twice. That's it. You don't reel off double-digit playoff winning streaks, which is what the Suns were trying to do as of last night. So I just think it's a bridge too far for the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. And I do not think, the other thing I took away from seeing him in the suite, Brandon, you tell me as an athlete, I don't think he's close to coming back. No. I think if he's close to coming back, he's on the bench. I do not think if he's in the suite, he could return for a game 5.
Well, what's going on? What's going on? Can somebody please update me and tell me what's going on with his knee? You go back to when he was in San Antonio, like this whole thing when he sat out a whole year. We didn't know exactly what was going on and severity of his injury. He seems to be a guy that keeps things extremely tight. His camp, whoever's around him, they don't want anybody to know what's going on with his health, what's going on with his body. It's the same thing. This knee, there's reports, is it an ACL or is it a sprain? Like, what's going on? For them to not come out and say, look, it's day to day, for them to not come out and say it's a sprain or grade 2 this, grade 1 that, that is scary. I don't think we're going to see Kawhi. Think about it. They were down 0-2. And Kawhi, where was he? He was sitting in the stands. He was in the box.
Brandon,
when you're in this situation, go ahead.
As an athlete, I just want to know, like, do you take anything from the fact that he wasn't on the bench? Like, is that as a precaution?
No.
Like, in case someone runs into the bench? No, not like as a bad teammate. I'm talking about the severity of the injury. Is that like, well, sometimes guys fall into the bench? Like, what did you think when you saw he was in the building but not on the bench?
Right. Privacy. Exactly what I just said. He's just trying to keep everything tight. That's what he did back when he was playing with the Spurs. He's done it his entire career. If you're standing on the sideline and you see me walk to the bench, you see me stand up because there's a timeout, you're going to see, what I'm dealing with. So that's the thing that scares me the most, Jenna, about this Kawhi situation is that you just don't know what he's dealing with, and it doesn't seem likely that he's coming back.